Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. You're very welcome to the programme. Where we find ourselves today is we're in a graveyard, an old graveyard near HILLTOWN, and you can see the beautiful Mourne Mountains there in the distance. And the cloud is very low, so they're covered, the tops of them anyway, are covered in cloud. But that middle one there is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? With a rock on top. But we're not too far here from HILLTOWN, and we're actually in the old Roman Catholic church at CLONDUFF. Now, the ruins of the church and the old graveyard are actually on the Baronsford Road, about half a mile east of HILLTOWN. And according to the Inquisition of 1657, only the walls were standing. Now, local tradition says that the church was burnt by parliamentary forces who were raiders of General Monroe, who plundered Newry in 1642. Of course, General Monroe commanded the Scottish Covenanter Army during the Irish Confederate Wars of 1641 to 1653, although Monroe himself came to Ireland in 1642. So this is what's left of the church. Fantastic to still have this, isn't it? So he was born in Scotland about 1601, and he died in Ulster in County Down in 1680. And his son, Colonel Andrew Monroe, was killed at the siege of Limerick in 1690 during the Williamite Wars in Ireland. Now, the Reverend Dominic McAvoy was registered in Downpatrick as the parish priest here of Clonduff and also of Newry. And he was a prominent supporter of King James II of England, and so he was thus outlawed. Now, he was ordained in 1682. Fantastic, this, isn't it? You might say, Marcus, it's just a ruin. Well, it's a big bit of history to this ruin, so there is. So, tradition says that the first priest of Clonduff was the Reverend, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, it's Irish, Eoghan, Ewan, I think, I'm not sure, O'Hagan, and he was murdered while celebrating Mass at the Priest's Mountain, which isn't too far from here, and he was murdered by Colonel Whitechurch, and that was during the penal laws. Now, there's a legend about the building of this church from the 16th century, and it says that every evening an ox would push over the construction carried out that day, and so the priest drove the ox off with a stick and then stuck the stick in the ground, defying the ox to come back. Of course, he never did, and the church was finally completed. And so the old bull and bush grew, it's said, from this stick, and it's said to be the largest fairy thorn in Ulster. And I have to be honest, I haven't a clue where it is. Because all I can see is trees. But that's as the legend goes anyway. Now, the Reverend Edmund Derry, during his pastorate here, a series of faction fights took place in which he took a prominent role actually in trying to stop the fighting, or in other words, as peacemaker. And the most serious of these skirmishes took place at the Battle of, I'll try and pronounce this, na Gappoke, Ballynagappoke, in 1792 on Sunday the 6th of May. And the contending parties being the Protestant People Day Boys and the Roman Catholic Defenders. So the participants finally dispersed through the good efforts of the parish priest, the Reverend Derry, and the Presbyterian minister of Raff Island, the Reverend Samuel Barber, who I've covered in another wee video. And so a great deal of powder and ball was actually expended, and some young men unfortunately lost their lives during that. So this is a memorial. This tomb was placed here by Michael O'Hagan, and it's for his son John O'Hagan. And John was killed. He died. I'm not sure how he died. I assume of natural causes. He departed this life 17th of January 1821, if you can see that. And he was 28 years of age. So he was. And can't really make out much of these other stones. Some of them you can't make out at all, but you can see a date on that one. That's really about it. 1776, if you can see that. And then again, this one's hard to make out, but it's 1790, I think that's 96, 93 maybe, 93 I think, as you can see. But this is the other side then of the wall that's left of the church, and there's a very interesting grave here, so there is, because this is a Roman Catholic bishop. And it says here left the body of the Right Reverend Hugh McMullen, Doctor in Divinity of the late Roman Catholic Bishop of Down and Connor. You can see the way some of the writing is just like one sentence altogether, which makes it a wee bit harder to read. Who departed this life on the 7th of October 1794, aged 74 years. So he was the Bishop of Down and Connor of the Roman Catholic Church, and he died in 1794, and he's buried here. And then also, I would assume buried here is John O'Neill, and he was patron of the Irish National Foresters in HILLTOWN. So a wee bit of history here, folks. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it, to have this? Don't know who's buried in this one, but you can see it's like a crest there of some sort. So if you know what that crest is, leave me a comment, let me know. Hard to make the writing out here, unfortunately. I would assume it's somebody important. So if you know who this grave here is, then let me know. Now, something about the stones that I want to mention of this church, and that was that the Presbyterian Meeting House in HILLTOWN, which is still there today, of course, was actually built from the stones here of this old chapel in 1829. Isn't that amazing? So in a sense, this old chapel still lives. This old church still lives because the stones of it were actually taken to build the Presbyterian meeting house in Hilltown in 1829. There's an old stone there, as you can see. So absolutely fantastic, isn't it? A lot of these graves are 1800s. Some of them are older, but you just can't make them out. Some of them are broke, so you haven't a clue what date they're from. So absolutely fantastic, isn't it? So you can see the old graves even inside here, where we were earlier. But can't make any dates out on them. That's a strange one there, isn't it? It's definitely writing on it, but you can't make it out, unfortunately. Although I think I see a date there, possibly. I think that's 1799, but I could be wrong, although it looks like it. If you can make that out there. It certainly looks like possibly 1799, but I'm not too sure, to be honest. So, who knows what age these graves are? As you can see. So there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. That was a wee gem. So thanks for watching, and God bless.